Every one of us, at some point in our lives, faces moments where everything we've worked for seems to crumble before our eyes. It's in these moments, amidst the chaos and the disappointment, that the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can light our way. Today, we dive deep into how Stoic principles not only help us confront adversity, but empower us to transform it into a foundation for personal growth and enduring resilience. Welcome to another episode on the Stoic Journal, where we unravel the timeless strategies that help you lead a more fulfilling and balanced life. Stay with us as we explore how to harness these ancient tools in our modern world, ensuring that no matter what life throws your way, you remain steadfast and strong. If you value the insights and discussions we share here, a simple, free way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button. And trust me, you won't want to skip any part of today's video, as each segment unfolds a key piece of the puzzle in understanding and managing the complexities of human interactions through Stoic wisdom. Number 1. The barbed compliment. Stoicism teaches us not to react impulsively, but to reflect on the intent and truth of what's said. Marcus Aurelius advocated for meeting such remarks with equanimity and understanding, recognizing that often these comments reflect more about the speaker's own insecurities or jealousies than any truth about us. When faced with a barbed compliment, instead of reacting defensively or letting it dampen our spirits, we can view it as an opportunity to practice Stoic detachment and reflection. We can ask ourselves, what might be motivating this person to say this? This isn't just about giving them a pass, but about maintaining our peace of mind and choosing how we let external comments affect our internal state. As we become more aware of this kind of interaction, we can also choose how we engage moving forward. Epictetus believed that it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Thus, if we determine that a person consistently uses such backhanded compliments, we might decide to share less with them or to address their behavior directly in a calm and rational manner. The barbed compliment is a test of our Stoic virtues, particularly wisdom, justice, and courage. Wisdom to discern the true intent behind the words, justice to respond appropriately without malice, and courage to either address the behavior or adjust our boundaries in response. Number 2. Fair weather friends. These are individuals who seem wonderfully supportive during the good times, but are conspicuously absent when the going gets tough. It's a phenomenon that many of us have encountered, but might not have fully understood without a Stoic perspective. Seneca taught that true friendship is constant and doesn't waver with fortune. He encouraged us to seek friends who share our values and are committed to genuine, mutually supportive relationships, not those conditioned on personal gain or superficial success. How then should we respond to fair weather friends? First, it is essential to recognize that everyone has their path and their challenges, which might limit their capacity for support. Stoicism teaches us not to harbor resentment, but to understand and accept the limits of others' support. This understanding, however, does not mean we lower our standards for close relationships, but that we become more selective with whom we share our vulnerabilities. Epictetus emphasized the importance of being self-sufficient and not placing our emotional well-being in the hands of others. By developing an inner citadel of strength and self-reliance, we insulate ourselves from the fluctuations of others' support. This doesn't mean isolating ourselves, but rather ensuring that our happiness and peace are primarily derived from within, not from the external validations of fair weather friends. Number 3. Inconsistent gestures. Marcus Aurelius argued that the harmony between what people say and what they do is a measure of their character and integrity. When there is a discrepancy, it often reveals underlying feelings that may not be directly expressed, such as jealousy, disapproval, or insincerity. In dealing with inconsistent gestures, Stoicism teaches us not to jump to immediate judgment, but to observe and reflect. Why might there be a mismatch between this person's words and actions? Is it a one-time occurrence or part of a pattern? Stoicism encourages us to consider these questions calmly and without bias, allowing us to respond appropriately rather than react impulsively. Epictetus would advise us to focus on what we can control in such situations, our perceptions and our reactions. If we perceive inconsistency, we can choose to address it directly in a conversation, seeking clarity about the other person's true feelings and intentions. Alternatively, we might decide to adjust our expectations of that relationship based on these observations, thereby protecting our emotional well-being. Moreover, being mindful of our gestures towards others is equally important. Stoicism teaches us that embodying sincerity in all our interactions not only strengthens our relationships, but also aligns us more closely with Stoic virtues of honesty and integrity. By ensuring our gestures and words are consistent, we set a standard for our interactions and encourage others to meet us at this level of authenticity. Number 4. Undermining your achievements. Imagine you've just reached a significant milestone. Perhaps you've been promoted, completed an important project, or achieved a personal goal. You share this news, expecting support and joy, but instead, you receive comments that trivialize your success. Someone might say, "It's great you got promoted, but you were really just in the right place at the right time." Or, "Anyone could have done that if they had as much free time as you do." These remarks, seemingly harmless to some, are designed to diminish the value of your achievements. When faced with someone who undermines your achievements, Stoicism teaches us first to reflect on the intent behind their words. Are these comments coming from a place of insecurity or jealousy? Understanding this can help us respond with empathy rather than defensiveness. Marcus Aurelius advised treating others with kindness and understanding, even when they act against us. By responding with patience and compassion, we not only maintain our peace of mind, but also set an example of how to interact with grace under pressure. Moreover, Stoicism encourages us to reaffirm our personal values and the hard work that led to our achievements. Epictetus emphasized that what truly belongs to us is our ability to use our reason and act according to our principles. By focusing on our efforts and the integrity of our actions, rather than the fluctuating opinions of others, we strengthen our character and our resilience. In practice, when someone undermines your achievements, consider addressing the issue directly if the relationship merits it. A calm, reasoned conversation about how their comments make you feel can sometimes lead to greater understanding and change. However, always return to Stoic principles. Our true power lies in our reaction, our internal harmony, and our commitment to living virtuously, irrespective of external validation. Number 5. The seeds of discord. In the journey of life, one of the more challenging social dynamics we encounter is dealing with individuals who sow the seeds of discord. These are people who, perhaps out of envy or their own internal conflicts, spread negativity, instigate conflicts, or pit others against one another. Marcus Aurelius taught the importance of overlooking the misdeeds of others when possible, understanding that each person acts according to their level of knowledge and virtue. He believed in approaching such situations with a spirit of forgiveness and understanding, recognizing that those who sow discord are often themselves in turmoil. However, understanding does not mean accepting harmful behavior. Another Stoic principle, courtesy of Epictetus, emphasizes focusing on what is within our control. In the face of discord, this means managing our reactions and interactions. We can choose not to engage in gossip, not to react defensively to provocations, and to avoid spreading further negativity. By doing this, we starve the seeds of discord of the attention they require to grow. The Stoic practice of reflection is crucial. Regular self-examination allows us to ensure that our actions do not inadvertently contribute to discord. It also helps us stay aligned with our values and committed to acting virtuously regardless of external circumstances. Number 6. Excessive flattery. When faced with excessive flattery, the Stoic response involves several steps. First, consider the source and context. Why might this person be so effusive? What might they want or expect? This isn't about cynicism, but about approaching interactions with a healthy dose of scrutiny. Seneca warned against letting flattery influence our self-perception, advocating instead for a self-awareness that is immune to external validation. Secondly, respond to flattery with modesty and redirect the conversation if necessary. Acknowledge the praise briefly if it's polite to do so, but then focus the discussion back to practical or factual elements. This both grounds the conversation in reality and signals that you are not swayed by excessive praise. Moreover, excessive flattery can be an opportunity for personal growth. Use it as a mirror to reflect on your own vulnerabilities. Are you easily swayed by praise? Does it feed your ego in a way that might be unhealthy? Stoicism's practice of self-examination can help ensure that your sense of self-worth and accomplishment is rightly placed in your own actions and virtues, rather than in others' words. In dealing with excessive flattery, adopting a Stoic mindset helps maintain personal integrity and authentic relationships. It protects us from being manipulated through our own egos and helps foster interactions based on genuine respect and honesty. This approach not only stabilizes our internal state, but also enhances our relationships by establishing them on a foundation of truth and mutual respect. Number 7. Reluctance to celebrate your success. In the journey of life, where we strive for personal and professional growth, the support of our community, friends, family, and colleagues is invaluable. However, there are times when you might notice a reluctance or hesitancy in others to celebrate your successes. This can feel isolating and perplexing, especially from those you expect to be your cheerleaders. Marcus Aurelius believed that true satisfaction comes from knowing you have acted according to your principles and efforts. When others show reluctance to celebrate your success, it might reflect their own challenges or insecurities rather than any shortfall on your part. Recognizing this can help reduce feelings of bitterness or resentment. From a Stoic perspective, the appropriate response involves reflecting on these reactions with empathy and detachment. Why might someone feel hesitant to celebrate with you? Sometimes it could stem from their internal struggles, jealousy, or even personal setbacks that make it difficult for them to share in your joy. Seneca taught that we should extend understanding and patience to others, acknowledging that everyone is on their own path with their own battles. In practice, addressing the reluctance directly can sometimes open doors to deeper understanding and improved relationships. A compassionate conversation about how you feel might not only clear the air, but also help others become more aware of their behaviors and possibly adjust their approach in the future. Number 8. Broken promises. Marcus Aurelius taught that we should expect to encounter untrustworthy behavior in others just as naturally as we might expect the wind to blow. He counseled that getting angry at such natural occurrences is as pointless as being angry with nature itself. Instead, we should focus on maintaining our own commitments and handling breaches of trust with composure and understanding. When faced with broken promises, the Stoic approach begins with managing our expectations. Epictetus emphasized the idea that much of our disturbance comes from our reactions to events, not the events themselves. If we adjust our expectations, understanding that only our actions are truly within our control, we can better handle disappointments when others fail to meet their commitments. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us to look inward and strengthen our personal resilience. Instead of relying solely on the promises of others, we should develop contingencies and maintain a degree of emotional detachment from outcomes dependent on external factors. This isn't to say we should expect the worst, but rather prepare ourselves to be adaptable and self-sufficient, reducing the impact of others' failures on our well-being. However, dealing with broken promises isn't just about reducing our expectations or preparing for disappointment. It's also about communicating openly and assertively when commitments aren't met. Stoicism doesn't advocate passive acceptance of all slights. Rather, it encourages us to address issues pragmatically. A calm and reasoned discussion about the importance of reliability and the impact of broken promises can sometimes influence future behavior, both ours and that of others around us. Number 9. Selective memory. This refers to those who remember certain events, comments, or actions, particularly negative ones, while conveniently forgetting others, especially those that are positive or contradict their narrative. Marcus Aurelius taught that it is essential to accept that people's perceptions are often a reflection of their inner world, shaped by their judgments, which are influenced by their experiences, fears, and desires. Thus, when someone focuses only on the negatives, it might be more about their internal struggles than a true evaluation of the facts. Seneca highlighted the importance of forgiveness and the release of anger in maintaining one's peace of mind. He suggested that understanding the imperfections of human nature, including faulty memories and biased interpretations, allows us to forgive more freely and reduce personal suffering. In practical terms, when you encounter selective memory, a Stoic approach involves open communication and setting the record straight in a calm and rational manner. It is helpful to gently remind the person of the positive aspects or events they may have overlooked. This can be done not as a confrontation, but as a way to broaden the narrative and enrich mutual understanding. Number 10. Overjoyed at your setbacks. Navigating through life's ups and downs can be challenging enough without the added complexity of encountering individuals who seem overly pleased when things go wrong for us. It can be disheartening to perceive that someone is taking pleasure in your misfortunes. This behavior is not only hurtful but also puzzling. Stoicism teaches us that such responses from others are reflections of their own internal struggles, insecurities, or shortcomings. Marcus Aurelius advised that we should not be surprised when people act according to their nature. He suggested that instead of reacting with anger or resentment, we should approach these situations with a mindset of understanding and compassion. After all, happiness in others' misfortune is often a sign of deep-seated unhappiness within themselves. Epictetus emphasized focusing on what is within our control. When someone rejoices in our setbacks, we can control our interpretation of and reaction to their behavior. Stoicism encourages us not to base our emotional state on others' actions, but to find contentment and strength within ourselves. By maintaining our equanimity and not allowing such reactions to disturb our peace of mind, we uphold our Stoic virtues. When dealing with someone who seems overjoyed at your setbacks, it can be beneficial to address the issue directly if you feel it is safe and worthwhile to do so. A calm, honest conversation about how their reactions make you feel can sometimes lead to better mutual understanding or even prompt them to reflect on their behavior. Number 11. The hidden sting in their words. In our interactions with others, we sometimes encounter subtle verbal cues that suggest not everything is as pleasant as it appears. These are instances where the words spoken carry a hidden sting, an undercurrent of negativity, sarcasm, or passive aggression that belies the surface level of the conversation. Marcus Aurelius counseled that the opinion of others reflects their character, not yours. He suggested that we should meet such comments with tranquility and detachment, recognizing that true self-worth comes from within and is not dependent on external validation. Seneca offered advice on handling insults and hidden negativity. He advocated for looking at such situations as opportunities for personal growth. By practicing patience and understanding in the face of veiled insults, we not only uphold our dignity, but also strengthen our resilience and virtue. When encountering the hidden sting in someone's words, consider addressing the issue directly but with tact and calmness. A straightforward question like, "What did you mean by that comment?" can clarify the intention behind the words and pave the way for more open communication. This approach aligns with Stoic principles by engaging with the issue without emotional tumult, fostering clarity, and potentially transforming a negative interaction into a constructive dialogue. Number 12. Diminishing your light. In the journey of personal and professional growth, it's not uncommon to encounter individuals who, whether consciously or subconsciously, attempt to diminish your light. Those who downplay your accomplishments or subtly dismiss the significance of your efforts. This behavior can be quite disheartening, especially when it comes from those within your close circle. Seneca's advice on dealing with envy and petty behaviors can also be insightful. He suggested that often the negativity from others stems from their own insecurities and challenges. Understanding this can help you approach such situations with compassion rather than resentment. Instead of feeling threatened by their attempts to diminish your light, see it as a call to radiate even more brightly with humility and strength. In practical terms, this might mean addressing the situation directly if the relationship warrants it. A calm, composed conversation about how their comments make you feel can sometimes enlighten the individual about their behavior and its impacts. This approach aligns with Stoic principles by addressing the issue without emotional turmoil, promoting clarity, and potentially transforming a negative dynamic into a constructive dialogue. Adopting a Stoic mindset allows you to remain centered and joyful in your accomplishments, regardless of others' attempts to overshadow them. By cultivating a strong sense of self based on your own values and achievements, you ensure that your light is not dimmed by external forces. This not only helps in maintaining personal peace, but also empowers you to continue progressing towards your goals with confidence and resilience. Number 13. Conditional loyalty. Navigating the complexities of human relationships often leads us to confront the challenging reality of conditional loyalty, where support and friendship are offered not unconditionally, but only when it serves one's self-interest. This can manifest in fair-weather friendships or professional alliances that only last as long as there are benefits to be reaped. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the importance of being self-sufficient and finding contentment within oneself, rather than relying on the fickle support of others. He counseled that we should expect nothing from others, thereby insulating our inner peace from the vagaries of external circumstances. Furthermore, Seneca, on dealing with inconstant friends, suggested that true friendship is a form of wise investment. Invest in those who value you, not for what you can offer them materially, but for your character and shared values. He proposed that when we discern conditional loyalty, we should neither be surprised nor vengeful, but should calmly reassess these relationships and our expectations of them. In practical terms, this means cultivating relationships with those who demonstrate consistent support and genuine care. It involves having open and honest conversations about expectations and commitments in both personal and professional relationships. When you encounter conditional loyalty, rather than becoming bitter or disillusioned, use it as an opportunity to reinforce your understanding of human nature and to realign your social circle in a way that reflects more closely your values and needs. As we close today's journey through the intricate dance of human relationships and the subtle cues that define them, remember, the strength you cultivate within yourself is your truest guide. Stoicism teaches us to face life's challenges with dignity and wisdom, fostering relationships that mirror our inner integrity. Thank you for joining us at Stoic Journal. Your companionship on this path to understanding and resilience is invaluable. If you found today's insights enlightening, consider watching one of the suggested videos on your screen to continue exploring the profound world of Stoicism. Together, let's keep learning how to live not just with tranquility, but with triumph over adversity.